to the marketing. While we can't impact price, the investment of levies in MLA's export marketing strategy is helping to support industry. It's building loyalty and creating new business opportunities for Australian beef and lamb in global markets. We do this through monitoring and reporting on consumer trends, channel trends and requirements, and competitive positioning. Developing new business opportunities for Australian meat is another clear objective of MLA. Clearly positioning Australian beef, lamb and goats as safe, consistent, versatile and nutritious, as well as assisting in the creation and promotion of strong brand identities. The True Aussie logo, which is there, the tagline True Aussie, will provide a marketing umbrella of consistent images and messages to underpin the Australian export brand activities. Positive positioning of Australian beef and lamb in overseas markets through country of origin marks, which reinforce generic attributes such as Australia's environment, production system and food safety standards. In a competitive market with shifting trade barriers and changing consumer demands, it's important to differentiate Australian product. Domestically, the marketing landscape is very different. And as the public-facing area of MLA's investment, domestic marketing is the public face of MLA's investment. This is something everyone that's a levy payer has an opinion on. The fact is, consumer perceptions and the preference for beef and lamb are very strong in Australia. So MLA's marketing aims are to sustain willingness to pay a premium over alternative proteins. And that will be more and more important over the next couple of years. You will see dramatic increases in price at a domestic level for red meat, and that positioning as a premium product both globally and domestically will become even more important. So how do we do and establish our marketing landscape? We do this through strengthening Australia's consumers' emotional bond with beef and lamb. So hopefully you've seen some of the lamb advertising lately, which is about, the tagline is "You never lamb alone," and that is about lamb being the meal you have when you come together with family and friends. We create desire and educate consumers to cook a range of seasonal meals and cuts. We work with retailers and food service operators to raise standards of presentation, quality and merchandising and promotion. We also build customer awareness and understanding of MSA, Meat Standards Australia, eating quality, which is an eating quality standard, and to grow MSA's penetration with the wholesale, retail and food services channels. So if I just look now at MSA, Meat Standards Australia, and I'll talk about what it is to those people that don't quite know, but you're one of 49% of the Australian population that doesn't know about it. So it's an R&D project. So around mid to late 90s, the Australian industry, red meat industry, decided to chase eating quality, and what a grand vision it was at the time. And I'll go through some of the numbers of what MSA has delivered as a research and development project. Other products like pork maybe chased lean meat yield, so they didn't chase the actual eating quality. And I think today it's certainly hopefully a lot of people understand that when you're now eating beef and lamb, you are getting a much more consistent eating quality, unless you're a very ordinary cook like myself. So MSA delivered net benefit producers has been $440 million by the end of 2010-11, with a benefit cost ratio for every dollar spent, a return of $5.3. Strong take-up through the value chain from producers, processors, food service outlets and retailers. MSA is an example of something that's been adopted right through the value chain, from farm right through to consumption. Last year in 2013 and 14, 3.2 million head of cattle were MSA graded, and 31,000 producers are currently registered to supply cattle under the MSA accreditation. More than 51% of consumers are aware of the MSA graded symbol. MSA is succeeding in providing consistent eating quality to the consumer. So through strategic planning, so the industry, through its strategic planning, as I said, in the late 90s, this idea must have seemed unattainable. But delivering consistent eating quality through an R&D project, which is now evolving all the time, the next evolution in this process of eating quality is to go right back to genetics and genomics. So that is to go back to genetics and genomics and understand the animals that are actually breeding consistent eating quality. So the plan will be under breed plan, which is an evaluation of animals through the system like birth weight, and then 200-day growth weight and 400-day growth weight. We hope to have next trait being eating quality and be able to measure that. And some of that is already in action today throughout Australia. Certain processes will only take certain bloodlines of livestock, knowing they have a consistent eating quality. So MLA, so that's some of the marketing and some of the R&D that's happened through the industry that MLA's been involved in. But that's right across the value chain. As an industry service provider, MLA is the enabler. And we must provide the strategic direction. So that point is that industry tell MLA what they want and how they want it delivered. So the role under the new structure of MLA is now to absolutely ensure that MLA is equipped to deliver the evidence and data for industry to make these decisions, whether they be where the consumer insights group is telling us what consumers want throughout the world in any country of origin for a red meat. And pleasure to be here at Farm Writers today. And it was great that MLA got its act together and served meat. I did note that at the feedlot conference held on the Gold Coast 3 weeks ago, the main dinner sat down for some lovely grass-fed steak, which did not go over well at the feedlot conference. So I'm pleased we didn't have fish today. As I said, a great pleasure to be here. It's also good to see some people around the room I know. As Paul mentioned, I do have livestock, so I'd just like to acknowledge John Marr from Ruralco, who holds the debt around the livestock that I own. So it's great to see you here, John. Hasn't been a great couple of years, but we'll get there. Okay. So, look, what's happening at MLA? I was asked to talk about the global outlook and the global market conditions and the changes that we've undertaken at MLA. I say that so that I stay on track and actually cover those two topics. I won't do a lot around the global focus because I think it's been widely covered, but I would like to talk about the challenges at MLA and particularly the challenges that exist in the beef sector and red meat sector at the moment. So MLA is a marketing and research company. We do the development of research on farm and right across the value chain. We have 4 key focus areas: maintaining and improving market access, growing demand, improving productivity across the value chain, and supporting industry integrity.